Welcome back to Singer Dad Reacts. My name is Josh. Welcome to all you home fries out there. It's been a while since I did a reaction for Home Free, and so I wanted to get back on track. And I thought, what better occasion is there than Veterans Day, which is today, to do a reaction to their version of God Bless the USA with Lee Greenwood and the United States Air Force Band. I definitely am looking forward to hearing this rendition. I've heard good things about it. So I'm going to jump right in with the lyrics here. If tomorrow all the things were gone I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife, I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I'd gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, where's pride in every American heart. And it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I'd gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And then the chorus repeats, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. So very just straightforward patriotic song. It actually speaks to those that have fought and died for our country and our freedoms. But this can translate to any country. For those of you that live in other countries outside of America, those that stand up, that are patriots, that represent all that is good and the freedoms that you enjoy as part of your citizenship. Those that have fought for your liberties, that translates across all the different countries of the world. But I have to say a special shout out, since I am an American, for those that have fought for our country. I salute you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your service. I feel those who serve this country are some of the most underappreciated, and should be put on a pedestal and really appreciated more for what they do. And I love the scene from the end of Saving Private Ryan with Tom Hanks' character in Private Ryan, where he's about to die and he tells him, "Earn it," right? And I feel that way about myself and about my duty to those that have given their lives or that have fought for my freedoms, and that is, do I earn it with the way that I live and the person that I'm becoming, the people that I serve, and what I give back to this great country and to the people of the world. So definitely something to think about for all of us as to, are we earning it? Are we earning the things that we have and the freedoms that we've been given? Special shout out to my brother, Chad, who served in the Persian Gulf War as a Marine, and gave a lot for this country as a veteran. And I really appreciate his service and his example to me of courage and all those great things that come with being a valiant soldier and serving the country. And it's kind of a neat thing with this performance. So this performance is with the United States Air Force Band, but it also involves the singing sergeants. So the group that actually sings from the Air Force as well. And one of the members of that, her name is Nicole Vanderdoes, and she actually was a voice student of my wife's when we lived in Colorado. So she was in high school, and my wife taught her voice lessons, and now she's part of this great group, and they sing in all over the world and do some really neat performances. If you go look them up online, they're a very talented group. In fact, Nicole actually stood in at a rehearsal for Patti LaBelle. So Patti LaBelle was supposed to come and rehearse with this orchestra and things like that, and so they called Nicole to go in and sing in her stead, right? So how cool an honor is that, to stand in for a legend like Patti LaBelle. So she's really talented. I'm not sure if they show her at all in this video, but she's one of the group that sings as part of that United States Air Force representation there. So with that, let's dive right in. If you haven't already, if you're new to the channel, if you could please click on subscribe, click on the notification bell to be notified of any of my upcoming reactions. I'd appreciate that. Here we go. Showing different locations here.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife.
I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, where the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
That's cool. They're in all these different locations. So they've got some in Minnesota. Looks like Tim and Austin are in Nashville. And then DC. And then Chance is over in Los Angeles. That's really cool. They're able to kind of mix and match it together. Again, I can't say enough about the blend that they have and the togetherness that they have when they sing. It's not that easy to accomplish. I mean, if you've sung in a group like this and tried to create that, you know what I'm talking about. It's difficult to really get that blend where all of your voices, especially with voices in this type of a group, because they each have, a powerful solo voice. You hear them do solos on occasion, and so they can really, bring it that way. And I've had to kind of do this with some of the things that I've been involved with, because I have a kind of a powerful voice, and so I have to there's my solo voice, and then there's my blending voice, and so I kind of have to, switch my voice in and out depending on what I'm doing. So my blending voice is more kind of subdued and more, less vibrato, more kind of an airy quality to it, so that it will blend better with the voices around me. And I've just kind of had to learn to do that when I'm singing parts where I need to blend. So those are things you learn as you kind of work and operate in an a cappella group, and you sing in different settings, right? As to how to, alter your voice and the properties of your voice to fit whatever you're doing. Let me go back just a little bit. I kind of stopped in a weird spot here.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you.
Lee sounds
and
great.
defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota
to the hills of Tennessee,
across the plains of Texas, oh, from sea to shining sea.
From Detroit down to Houston,
and New York to LA,
where there's pride in every American heart,
and it's time we stand and say, oh, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know
I don't see her anywhere, but
and I won't forget the man.
oh, there she is. So right, you can't see my finger where I'm pointing, but I think you can see my mouse though. So this is Nicole right here. That's her singing with this group. That's cool. Sorry to stop in a weird spot. I just was looking for her and I spotted her there. So since I'm stopped, yeah, I mean this is quite an undertaking to get this many voices going and to match all these tracks up. I can't even imagine what they had to do in editing to make it all come together. I mean, I do not envy that person that had to pull all that together, but it sounds phenomenal. The blend and the synchronization of the voices. That's amazing. And this what a great thing they're doing here, you know, coming together like this and putting this arrangement together. I'm surprised by Lee as well. I mean, he still sounds great. These guys that are getting older that still sound phenomenal, I just have that most respect for them. I mean, an example of that would be Tony Bennett, right? I mean, how old is he? He's like 85. I mean, he still sings extremely well. So I'm hoping that, you know, my voice will stay around and I can still sing when I'm older as well. But this is awesome. Let me go back just a little bit here. That's cool that they show Nicole in there.
Oh, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to
Lee.
you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt of this land.
There she is again.
God bless the USA. God bless this country. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that
Adam.
right to me. And I
Beast.
gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless, please bless the USA.
Wow. That's awesome. Let me watch the end again real quick here. Let's see. So I'll point out Nicole again. They didn't show a close-up of her like they did these others, but there she is. I missed it. So that's her right there, yeah. That's Nicole. Yeah, see Vanderdoes on her tag there. I want to hear this end again here. This is amazing. And again, Lee, I'm really impressed by him with what he's bringing to this song. A lot of feeling and heart, and his voice is solid. I would not have guessed that he still has this level of ability with his voice and range. There she is again. Okay, right there.
To you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt of this land. God bless the USA.
so together.
This is country.
That's
And I'm
awesome.
proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless, please bless you.
Austin's doing something there. Wow. So that was special. That was really neat. I'm glad they put that together. That was a major undertaking. I mean, like I said, you look at all the mixing they did and all the voices they brought together. I mentioned before, I think in another reaction, so my wife and I sang in a 40-voice a cappella choir when we were in college, and it was a traveling group. We traveled and performed, and had little smaller groups that performed also in our when we traveled and stuff. So like I was part of a jazz choir that my wife directed, that sang as well. But one of the things we did was we were asked to sing on a backup track. So there were 40 of us. They wanted 17 of us to sing on a backup track for a show group, that Showtime type group that was performing in a large venue. So they wanted to kind of have us on the backing track to provide a little filler there to fill out the sound for this large audience. So the director tried us out, and my wife and I ended up being part of this 17 person group that was called upon to go to the studio. So it was kind of one of my first experiences with a group like that, of that size, to kind of go through, and it was quite the undertaking to go through and record those songs and get it mixed and matched and get everybody lined up and synchronized with the parts and everything. So I can speak to that to some degree, at least, as to what they're doing it from multiple locations, so that's even trickier, right? In our case, we all had the same accompaniment, and we were all like in proximity of each other, so we could kind of hear each other, and that makes a big difference when you're performing like that, as opposed to just kind of singing in your own little silo and then hoping that you're in the same rhythm and that the volumes and all that, as far as where you're singing, is going to blend, because that's part of blending, is not being louder than the person you're blending with, right? So there's a lot of different things involved with all of that. So the person blending it and editing it may have had to go in and actually like kind of turn certain voices down and actually have that part of the blending to do himself or herself, because of them not being in the same room and being able to hear each other to that level. So, but yeah, and the song is powerful. It was very touching to hear them sing that, and to think about those that have served this country, and I really I'm grateful. I remember as part of one of our church service projects, we went and helped out a gentleman that had hurt in war, a soldier that had returned home, and he was completely, pretty much disabled. He could barely walk around. He had all kinds of different injuries and things like that, and so this was for a program where they help out these returned warriors that have been wounded and can't really provide for themselves, and help them with their home and stuff like that. So we were helping him move in and get settled. But I just remember thinking, this guy gave a lot, so that I could have my freedoms and liberties, and so I'm very grateful for that, and for those that have served. Yeah, it was amazing. As far as my reaction, the voices all blended really well. Whenever you can't hear like individual voices, then you know that the group has done a good job. And I didn't really hear it. I mean, I heard obviously the solo parts, like Lee's part, and there were parts where kind of Austin stepped up and came out, and Rob. But those were intentional, right? Those are parts where it's a solo part of the song. But as far as the parts where they were all blending and where the singing sergeants and those came in, they all, blended very well together. So bravo to those that put this on, that did this production. This was, and now that I've seen it, I'm going to go back. There's a making of video. It's like 14 minutes. That kind of shows behind the scenes for, when they made this. So I'm going to go back and watch that now that I've seen the full production, and kind of, see how they put it all together. I didn't think all of you would want to see that, because that's, like I said, a 14-minute video. But anyway, so thank you all for your support of my channel. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I'm going to try to really, get a lot more of reactions out there and pick things back up. I know I started off with a bang in July and put out a lot of videos. I think I put out like 35 that month or something. And then I just kind of slowed down a lot, especially like September, October, and like the last 3 months or so. So I'm going to try to put more videos out and focus on that. And so I appreciate your support. Tell others about the channel. Let me know what you feel like I can improve on. Some of the things I don't have control over right now, at least, are the quality of the camera. And I'm working on the lighting situation. I'm still not fully pleased with what I have, but I'm going to try to figure out different ways to improve that. But yeah, let me know what else you feel like I can do to improve the channel. I'm always open to your feedback as to ways I can improve it. So I hope that each of you is healthy and happy, and that you know that you are special, and that you have a lot of potential in this world and a lot of talents, and that you can accomplish great things in this world, and you're here for a reason, and people love you, and I hope that you all feel that and feel that value, and have people around you that reinstill that and show love. So if not, come here to my channel, and hopefully you feel that from me, and you feel that from the music. A quick thing that I saw. So I saw a video, and I'll try to find it and put a link to it in the description. But it was of a lady that I think she was around 90, and she has Alzheimer's, and she was, when she was in her younger years, she was a prima ballerina, so top end ballerina. And so they played, I want to say it was Swan Lake. So that's like a real popular ballet. So she has Alzheimer's. They played the music to this Swan Lake, and they videoed her reaction to the music. And she was remembering the choreography, and she was like doing the choreography and like moving her body, and it was all coming back to her through the music. And it made me think, music transcends everything. You think about that, and I've always been fascinated by the brain, but she couldn't remember like things like names and faces or whatever, the things that people forget a lot of times with Alzheimer's. But there were special neural pathways within her brain that had been established through the music, and muscle memory and all these other different things that were all tied to the music, so that when that music came on, she remembered the choreography to the song. And she probably hasn't danced to that song in, who knows, 60 years maybe, 50 or 60 years, and yet she remembered it. Her mind remembered that, and the music was there and intact. So music, as I mentioned before, it transcends. It is the universal language of humanity, and of peace and of love and of hope. And so I hope that you all can get a piece of that through my reactions and through the music that we listen to together. Thanks again for your support, and take care.